Hi everyone, I'm Karen Sydney and welcome to today's interview in our Woman Who Creates series. My purpose behind these interviews is to inspire women to go out and create the life they want for themselves and to show them that there are lots and lots of possibilities and opportunities in our world. Today's guest is Sarah Greener. So welcome, Sarah. It is such a privilege to have you here. Sarah is a wife, mum, entrepreneur and business coach, and she is from Paihia, New Zealand. So you say you were brought up around business. It was in your blood from the age of 15. You wanted to own and operate your own business. Having watched your dad as he grew up being what you would call a serial entrepreneur, ably supported by your mother. Today you own and operate two businesses with your husband. And you say the best time to implement something you have learned is now. So just get started, just do it. So Sarah, tell us, how should we go about it? You know, this not getting into this putting it off.
Yeah, so it's something that we all do, and I think it's really clear to know where you're going. I think the thing that challenges people the most is not being really clear about where they're going to end up and making sure they're focusing on the right things. And so having a really clear vision for not just what your business looks like, but what your life looks like as well. Because we all got into business not to do more business. We got into business to have more life, you know, whether it was time with the most important people or traveling or, you know, whatever was most important to you at the time. And so being really clear about where you're going, for me, has made it really simple to get on with it and get things done, because I know that if I implement this work now, it's what's going to move me closer to my goal, to my vision of where I want to be in the long run.
Did you have major challenges in your life, adversities that you've had to overcome that it's made you want to go out and help other women like this?
I don't think, it depends, you know, it's all on a balance, I guess, in terms of I can't look at my life and go, I've had major health challenges or anything like that. When we bought our first business back here in New Zealand, we bought it in December 2007. Which was awesome, except for, you will know, and by about March 2008, we were in the middle of a global financial crisis, and we had borrowed all of the money to buy our first business, and so we just went to work. You know, we didn't know any different. You know, and being in the tourism trade, it just died. You know, there was just numbers not coming, and we just worked so hard. We paid off a quarter of the business in that first 6 months, and we just went to work. It was just that you just got to do it. We didn't have any other choice. So I guess that was a really big challenge, but it made us who we are today and who we are as a couple. We bought a boat and we lived on the boat, and we worked on the boat, and, you know, we just did what we had to do to get by. And in the end, it turned out that it wasn't just getting by. We were actually doing really well in the economy and the way it was. So I suppose that was our biggest challenge. And then when my life really changed was when, about 5 years later, when we had our little girl Scarlett, because obviously your priorities changed substantially. So up until that point, it was all about business and mine and Johnny's relationships and having fun. And then this massive shift when you have this small person that's absolutely reliant on you, and the way we'd set our business up, we'd just set it up as really expensive jobs. We had worked in it all the time. We had to answer the phones. I was in the hospital with Scarlett when she was first born, and still doing the payroll, sitting in the bed in the hospital. You know, it was just, that was nuts. And at that point, I guess it made me go, this isn't how I want it to work. This isn't how I want my time to be, and started to make some changes at that point.
So what was your first business? So in the tourism industry?
Our very first business was a sea kayaking business in Thailand, in the south of Thailand, doing sea expedition kayaks, particularly in Paihia Bay. So we did that first. And then our second business was the boat in the Bay of Islands, which we still have today. So we've been doing that for coming up, I say 11 years. So it feels like a long time.
Wow. So you fit that in around doing your coaching business as well?
Yeah, so over the time as we've grown that business and made those changes, I'm not required so much. I still interfere in the governance of the business. I'm still a director and obviously a shareholder, and I do a lot of I really enjoy the marketing part of it, and I guess kind of the strategic part of the business. But other than that, I'm not really needed. So if you said I would be grossly exaggerating if I said I worked in 8 hours a week. So it leaves me lots of space and time to do the coaching business as well, which I've been doing full time since the end of last year.
Right. So do you, what services do you offer in your coaching business?
Cool. So the main part of my business currently is one-to-one coaching clients. So working one-on-one with someone for 6 to 12 months, getting really clear, like I said before, for me, it's really, really, really clear what is the vision for your business and your life, and then how do we structure your business around that going forward, clear on that, and then we work through a process of getting them out of that overwhelm. Really about my story, where I'd come from, that overwhelm, that stress, that day of kind of sitting on the bed in the hospital and still doing the payroll, going and answering phones, going, this is not going to work, to where I've got to today. And we just worked through it. And I think in 2019, we're so lucky to have so much great technology, which we just never had. You know, when we started in business, it was so much more, it required so much more labor intensive time. And now we've got so many options to make it like this. You know, we can have a conversation, you and I can have a conversation, and we don't need to be in the same town or even in the same room. You know, we can do it across the other end of the country. So so that's what made that shift. And then I also do 2-day workshops, which are really about taking back control of your life, taking back control of your business. And coming soon, which I'm working on at the moment, is I'm doing some online courses and group coaching packages that will come out. So yeah, that's me.
So as you say, with the technology, it makes all these things, it's limitless, isn't it? I mean, it's just so many possibilities now, and as you say, you can do the online business as well that you're launching, so that'd be great. So doing your coaching one-on-one, is that mostly with people where you live, or do you do that mostly like this online with people, or?
Yeah, all of my coaching's done online over a phone call. So mostly using Zoom now. So I find that doing it over the phone, we just get far quicker results because we go to work the whole time. I'm not. We don't have, I love to catch up with my clients, and some of them are, you know, becoming great friends, but that's a different conversation to have over a coffee or a glass of wine. Whereas when we're on a call, we're on a coaching call, we're going to work. So we do it all online. So I coach people in Australia, all over New Zealand. So yeah, anyone.
And so, I mean, and it's great for both parties, isn't it? Like, it's a big time saver because you don't have to drive somewhere. I mean, you factor in an extra hour, at least more, depending where you live, to appointments when you've got to get there. So at least you just have to be wherever your internet is and sit down and do it. You don't have to put in that time of getting to the appointment.
Absolutely. And it means that you can get in that sacred space and you can take notes and have that space to process. You know, sometimes in coaching, as you're challenging some pretty long-held beliefs or long-held stories that you've got to unpack and reframe and move forward. And sometimes people need some space to process that, and that not looking at each other's face while that's happening gives them a little bit more space to process it in a really real, authentic way. And so I think that's got lots of power in it.
It has. Now, you say that you started your way on, you wanted business from watching your father. So do you think that was a big influencing factor in your life, watching what your father done with business?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just my dad. You know, I've got 2 uncles and an auntie that are all in business on one side, and you know, my mum and dad have done all sorts of businesses. All my sisters have been in business, and some still are, and done really, really well, and been through the ups and downs and done the roller coaster journey that happens with entrepreneurship and business ownership. And you just loved it. I don't know how employable I'd be. I haven't been employed by someone else for so long, and I love that you can create what you want, but I don't think it's for everyone. I think that's something that I think we're not good at telling people, is that business isn't for everyone, and it shouldn't be for everyone, and that we have to be careful not to show the rose-colored view of it, because it isn't always easy, and there are lots and lots of days when you work for next to nothing, really, really hard, especially when you're starting up, with taking the risk that the plan that you're going to get that investment back at a later date, and our statistics show us that that's just not the case. You know, like 1 in 100 business survive to 10 years. So
Yeah,
It's not for everybody.
no. I tell that to my clients, like, you've got to know that you're actually, you can take the pressure, because yes, it isn't easy. It's very rewarding and satisfying, but you've got to be that kind of person. And I sort of relate it to the characteristics and traits that top sports people have, that you've got to have that for business as well. It's like that perseverance and persistence and stickability and the determination, and you've got to have courage and be brave and believe that you can actually do it, because if you don't believe you can, well, then it becomes very hard. But I have had, like you're saying you don't know how employable you be. I feel the same about me. I've been had my own businesses since I was 18, so I've never worked for anybody else. And what I say, it's the right path for me, that I absolutely love it. And I never wake up, and I can honestly say this, and I say it to everybody, I can honestly say I've never woke up in the morning and there's work. I always wake up thinking, oh, what can I make happen today? My head is always full of so many ideas. So I look at it and think, I have been just so lucky, and I'm so grateful that I get to choose every day what I do. And yes, you have responsibilities and different things that you must do, but you're still, you're in control of your life. And yes, I can't imagine working with someone else and they tell you when you can have your lunch break and when you can have your holidays and everything else. So I find business life great. But as you said, you've got to be honest to people. People have to know they can do it, because it isn't easy. And you've got to have those traits, don't you?
If you're looking for that certainty and that security of set income, and it absolutely comes. You've got to do the work. I just don't think it's there necessarily always in those first 6 to 12 months. And if you haven't got the buffer to do it, or the resilience to work through that, and you find that incredibly stressful, then I just don't think it's going to be necessarily right for you. And I think we don't talk about, and we brush under the covers kind of the story of the loneliness of being in business, because you're not always able to talk to other people about what's going on if it's going badly. We all talk about it when it's going great, and you're famous now if you're a great business person. But that wasn't the case 10 years ago, but we don't talk about how often those people had to fail to get to where they are. You talk to any of those people that are overnight success, they've been working on it for 10, 12 longer. Sometimes they've launched it 6 or 7 times before it got live, and you have to be able to take those knockbacks and pick yourself up and move yourself forward, because no one else is there to do it for you. And I think that's it. I'm privileged to have my husband on that journey with me, but not everyone's got that.
No, that's right. And as you say, you can't just go and talk to everybody. You can't tell your customers, oh no, look, I haven't had any money coming today, I'm very stressed, the bank's ringing me up. And you have to be able to stand that financial stress, which is a huge stressor to people. Financial, and when you're struggling with the money and don't know where the next dollar's coming, which can be the way when you're starting that, as you said, you just got to get out and work, and you've got to work hard, and you don't have the money. So that is a stress that a lot of people can't handle. And you just got to realise that about yourself. And that's where I think coaching before you go into business is great, because you go through all those issues and just really see whether it is for you or not. And as they take those rose-coloured glasses off, because it is all about you, and you do have to make it happen. The business doesn't just happen. It takes commitment and that getting out and working hard. So I can remember one saying to me, come to me for coaching, and they were like, it was around the liquor laws, and they didn't want to have certain things. And I said, well, it's just not possible, because that is a law. And so you have to do the things that are a law. There's no getting around. And they're like, oh, we're not doing that. And I said, well, you better go and talk to the council and the police and everybody first, because there's no way that you can do it. And so they didn't go ahead with the business because of that, because they only wanted to do it their way. But there's certain, and that's what you've got to look into, there's certain legislations and laws and for different industries, and there's no getting around that. So
and there's parameters, and then how can you work inside those parameters and do things differently? I think what I love about coaching is I've had in my business life lots of different industry experience, and I'm one of those people that loves to steal from one industry and apply it in the next industry. But I don't think we all do that. I think we get quite stuck in our industries, and this is what they've always done. And so I love that ability in business to kind of go, oh, what are they doing over there? That looks great. Let's apply it here, or vice versa. And I think that ability, even though you have those parameters, like you're talking about in terms of legislation, there's still ways to think differently about everything. That's the bit that lights me up. That, how can we work around this? How can we do this differently?
That's right. And it's and that's what's exciting, isn't it? To look like that and look outside the square and think, well, yes, how could this work for me? I mean, I love different industries and different businesses, and that's been my path. I've had 16 different businesses, and and I've flacked a lot of criticism from people. They say, well, why do you want to change all the time? Why can't you be satisfied with what you do? Because that's not me. Like, I like a new challenge, and now I look back and think, oh, I'm so glad that I done all those different industries, because I've got something from them all that, yes, you can take into the next one. And I'm very resourceful and resilient when something goes wrong, because you've learnt so much along the way. And but people that don't do it, they're like, oh, why do you keep changing all the time? Why can't you just be satisfied? And I'm like, because that's not me. And we're all different. So what makes you happy? Like, I look at someone. I was just on the news the other night here in New Zealand. A man was retiring after selling washing machines, was for 50 years. And I'm like, how could you turn up and do that for 50 years? But he was happy and he loved it. And so that's it. There's something for everyone out there to do, isn't it? And that's what it's just important, that long as it's your passion and what you love, and yes.
Clarity of vision, that you want for your business and for your life, designing it around what you want and what you need. Because if you don't do that, you're lacking that fulfillment. You could be successful. You could, by society's rules, you could have lots of money and the nice house and the nice car. But if you're not happy, you won't be fulfilled. And that, there's a lot of wealthy people that aren't happy. And I just don't see that as a goal for anyone in life. For me, it's about being fulfilled with your life. What was most important to you? And if you filled up your calendar every week with those things and came out the other side, you love it. It's taken me, the last 3.5, nearly 4 years to go from that, really, I'm working all the time, and I knew I had a time frame around that, to getting to a week where, like you, I get up every day and I go, love what I do. And my daughter says, Mum, you got to go to work again. I go, yeah, but I love it. I just, it's not, there's certainly bits of it that I could do without, and I would rather pay someone else to do, but I just love what I do. And that, if you can get to that point, I don't think it's there in the first week, and I don't think it's necessarily there in the first year either, but you can get there. I think so long as you know what that looks like, and then go and make that happen. That's what's so cool about designing your own life and your own business.
And I think that's what's great, what you were just saying. If you aim for that, to be able to get enough money in your business that you can outsource and pay someone for the things you don't like doing. And usually you drag the chain on them, and it's the last thing on your list, and you're thinking about it all the time. Whereas someone that likes doing it and that's their specialty, they can do it in a lot less of the time, and then you've lost that stress and that hassle that's getting you down. So I think that's a great point to aim for in your business as well, is why you want to be doing well and having the money is, and then as soon as you can, to outsource the things you don't want to do.
Absolutely. And knowing it, understanding it, and I'm going to not be able to tell you who the quote was from, but never invest in something you don't understand. And that comes down to your business as well. So if you're spending money on marketing, you're spending money on a salesperson, on accounts, whatever area, HR, whatever area it is you don't like, you still have to understand it. You still need to have a big enough picture and a big enough understanding to be able to ask great questions. And then you outsource it to someone who's better at it than you.
Exactly. And if you're employing staff, that's what I've always done. I've always done all the jobs myself, so so they know that you can do it and that you know whether they're doing it correctly. And so when you come in and tell them to do it a different way or whatever, it is coming because you do know. And I think it's really important for anyone working in your business under you or whatever is to realise that, yes, you actually do know everything about your business, and you do know whether they're, hiding things or they're not doing the job properly or something, that they can't pull the wool over your eyes. You actually are in control of this business and you know everything that's going on. Because I think as a business owner, you do, just like a mum, you know everything. They can't hide things from you.
Yeah, I think it's about, it's the why behind it. I think that's why you do go and do it all, because you're like, so why do we do it this way? And being really clear about it. And I'm open to changing things in our business all the time, because when you get fresh eyes, sometimes you can see things. But if they understand the why behind it, where are we going, what's the purpose, what's the vision, and how we do it, like really important to us is our values in our businesses. If someone knows where we're going and how we do things, they can't make a decision that's wrong, because they've done it in accordance with the values of the business and they're getting us closer to our vision. There's no problems and maybe it's not exactly how I would have done it, and we can talk about that and make the opportunity to change it slightly or tweak it, or perhaps they're doing it completely differently from how I do it and they get a better outcome, or cut costs or make more money or get a better client guest experience. But when they know where we're going and how we're getting there, then the rest comes really simple. And that's that why of this is why we do it this way. If we say that in our team, they go, oh, why don't we do this? And I go, well, so we have tried that. We have tried this, and we've found that either it doesn't get us closer to our vision, or it doesn't comply with comply is a bad word, but it doesn't fulfill one of our values, which is really important to us.
Yes, and as you say, like it's you've always got to be open to what someone else says. Someone coming in with fresh eyes, because once you think you know everything and your way is the only way, well then you do stop learning. And so it's great to have that rapport with staff and be able to openly discuss things. But as you said, you have to know first what you want and why you're doing it, and then you can find out, okay, yes, oh, that's great. Yes, you're saying that. I didn't think of it like that. And you welcome it if someone can come up with a better way of doing the same job. But yes, so there's lots of things. It's all learning, isn't it, with business? So there's lots to learn, and that's what's important for people having a business coach, mentor, that they can, when you go through and someone else to talk to that can ask you those right questions, that'll make you think about things in a different way.
Absolutely. Ask you the questions that it's not polite for anyone else to ask, so because I think, your friends and family want to be supportive, and they want to tell you what you want to hear rather than what you need to hear. Whereas as a coach, I don't have any of that requirement. I just want to see them be successful in their lives, whatever that is for them. I want to see them be fulfilled. And so if it's a question that, they don't like being asked, I'm okay with that. It's about getting them where they've told me they want to be. And so sometimes we have to look at things a bit differently and make sure that they're not going down a track just because that's how they've always done it, or because that's a story they've been telling themselves, that they don't like sales, or they, don't like employing people, or whatever it is, is that still serving them? Is that still serving their destination of where they want to go? So, I love it. And I think I look back to my early years in business, and I was a 25-year-old know-it-all. And had I had a coach or a mentor, we would have accelerated our business success and our life success so much faster. And we didn't get into having coaches until I was 5-6 years in, I guess. But now I wouldn't be without it. Just the growth and learning, not just for us in business, but for us personally in our relationship and our parenting and everything we do is just huge. It just wouldn't be without it. And so if I can provide even a little bit of that to my clients, it's been a fulfilling day. It's been a great day.
You must, I was just going to say, you must find it very rewarding when you see them actually achieving what it was they wanted to.
Yeah.
When they come to you.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's things completely unrelated to business. It's like I'm going away on holiday for the first time, or I'm, getting to my kids' school things that I wasn't able to do before, or, it could be a little bit of anything, they have done, but they've really achieved what they set out for themselves in that vision. So yeah, it's great. I have, it's been one of the most rewarding roles I've ever done, which is great.
And so is that what you mostly do now? Is that what you spend most of your time on? That's your main role, doing your coaching side of the business now?
Yeah, most full-time gig is doing that. A little bit of training, a little bit of speaking in terms of leadership and communication, stress and resilience, and time management. So you hear me talk about it all the time. But, when you get control back over your week and what you're spending your time on, everything else falls into place. You can't get it back. I can make more money. I always know there's a way to make more money. If I have to go and do dishes or bus tables, I can get the more money, but I can't get my time back. And maybe that's something that comes with age, and maybe it comes with watching children grow up really quickly. I'm not sure, but it's become so much more valuable to me than anything else. So I just spend it really wisely now.
Yeah. It's very important, because people they don't realise, unless you're making yourself answerable and you've got all your day planned and it's set out, you can waste so much time where you could have been doing something important. Whereas, time, if you don't know where you're going in the day, you get up and you mess around, have a cup of coffee, whatever, decide. You can spend 2 or 3 hours deciding what you might do first and trying to figure it out. Whereas, you need, and it is just such a waste if you went back at the end of the week, and you can look, if you've got it all planned down, you can see where you've spent your time. But if you went back and looked and worked out how many hours you're actually wasting, and time, as you say, it's our most valuable commodity, and once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back.
Yeah, but busy's just become that badge of honor. Like, how are you? And people go, busy, and that's a good thing. It's not a good thing. Ban it from your.
What are you actually busy doing?
I was just that person. I was always busy, just working crazy hours, full up. Got a space in my time, I'd fill it up with something else, and it wasn't serving me. I wasn't going where I wanted to be going, and I just busy doesn't serve. Get rid of it, ban it. It doesn't help you. Certainly doesn't help you in business. You want to be working on the right things, just not busy doing for the sake of doing it.
And I just had a realization come to me yesterday, because again, with time, and none of us know what is around the corner and how much time we have and what's going to happen in our life. And I was spending yesterday getting rid of a lot of rubbish on my computer and going through old stuff. And it was just like 2 years ago, I was looking at some of the people that I had interviewed for a magazine, and I was shocked to see that in that 2 years, 4 of those people had died. And they ranged in age from in their 30s to 50s. Wow. And so I was thinking, it's another good reminder just to stop sitting and waiting and just get out and do what you want to do. None of us know when our time ends. And so that really pulled me up. I was like, wow, because I was sort of reading that through, and I was like, oh my goodness, they're not here anymore. And they're not here anymore. And it was quite a shock. It was like, so it really put me up, and thought, yes, I'm going to really enforce that to people, and also these interview series, that yes, really define what it is that you want in your life, and your purpose and your values, and what's going to fulfill you, and what it is that you actually really, really want. Is it what you're doing? Is it for you, or is it just to make someone else happy? Because the thing is, when we're happy, then we can give out more to more people, can't we? And we can make more people happy, and we've got a lot more to give when we're satisfying ourselves as well.
Absolutely. And I don't know if that's possibly it's a female trait. I think maybe everyone's guilty of doing it, but women more so than anything, is that you're so busy giving to everyone else. And like I say, I'm speaking, with no judgment, because it was absolutely me. I was busy doing community work, and I was busy being a wife, and I was busy being a mum, and I was busy business and looking after team members and doing all of that stuff. And I can't remember when the last time I'd looked after myself at the time was, and I was not doing a good job of any of it, if we're really honest, because I hadn't looked after me. And when I changed that around and did it the other way around, I can be so much better at all those other hats I wear just by looking after myself first.
And I think that is a female thing, a woman's role. We do have lots of different hats that we juggle around, and I, like you, was very guilty of the giving, and I never looked after myself because I was like, oh fine, I can just keep doing this. But receiving is something that's been a real challenge to me. And so I've had to really work hard on that. And I find it, yes, if you take care of yourself and you're feeling really good and you're keeping your health and you're doing all these things, well, you can give a lot more. And so it's a lot better. You know, people think, oh, they're guilty because as a mother they mightn't be doing this and they mightn't be doing that. But as a mother, even you're so much better when you take care of yourself as well. You get very bedraggled when you just give, and everybody's at you all these different things that you've got to do. At the end of your day, you're quite worn out and stressed. Yeah. Whereas we finish it on a high and feel great because, yes, you have had some me time. So, you know, what do you like to do in your downtime to relax away from your business?
Good question. So obviously I spend a fair bit of time with my husband and our daughter. And luckily all three of us are water babies. So we absolutely love being in the sea, under the sea, on the sea, which I guess shows up in our business as well a little bit. But yeah, so if we can at the beach, or in a perfect world, we'd be out on a boat somewhere snorkeling. Scarlett's too young to scuba dive yet, but eventually we'll get her scuba diving. But yeah, in and around the water is certainly a big thing. And I mean, this weekend we were down hanging out with family and took niece and nephew to the zoo, so those are good. And I try and get some exercise in each day. For me, although sometimes I say that's about the business as well, not just for me, because I know I show up better if I do that. And I love great food and wine, so dining out with good friends and family, good conversations, you know, connecting with, I wouldn't say I had a massive group of friends, but I've really good, the friends I do have are really great friends that you can have really robust conversations with and enjoy debating. And probably lots of them, I have to say, are probably in business because we're all pretty passionate about it, and so we do talk about it a lot. But, you know, downtime would be that beach time, that and the water time for us.
Well, you live in a beautiful part of the country, and so you've got the water close by, and yeah, so it's great that you're into those kind of, that's what you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's you know, and it's so beautiful, you know, isn't it? Getting out in nature and the sea and all those surroundings, it's just so good for your soul as well. Like, you know, when you do those kind of things, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And so, is there anything else that you do, or would it mainly be things like that? That's your relaxation time away from work. That's how you chill out and relax? That's what you'd choose mostly?
Oh, music, live music gigs. So doing those things, but it would generally be with my family. I guess those are really, for me, highest life priorities at the moment are my husband and my daughter. And me, and then the business. And so because of that, our life kind of works around that. So we do spend quite a bit of time, the three of us. And then I guess the last thing is, you know, contributing. So my husband's a volunteer firefighter. He's had a bit of a chunk of time off recently, but normally, so he's doing his volunteering there. And I've had a big break from my volunteering for the last few years. So having a look at getting back involved and things like that, which likely will be around the schooling, given the time in our life, basically. And so I really enjoy the opportunity to take what I've learned in the rest of my life and applying it to a community, you know, because you can, for me, the whole game is to give back. And ultimately in business, if you're doing well in business and you can take that time, you can actually create really resilient, strong communities around you and your business by not just by supporting your team, but the wider contribution that you can make, whether it be on boards or committees, or you just have that opportunity to give back. And when I can get there, you know, I love that. And you always get to connect with great people where they're doing those things that, you know, they just, yeah, they've got good souls when they're giving back.
And it's great to be able to do that in a community, isn't it? Because it brings everybody close together, and you know that you're doing, more things can happen for the community. And it's a great way to show your support of where you live when you're in business, and when you get it to that level, it is rewarding to be able to give in that way as well, contribute.
Absolutely.
And so do you have any mantras, quotes you live by? I noticed you had your business slogan was passion, action and results. So that's a good one. But do you have anything else that, you might say to yourself, affirmations, mantras that you would say to people?
Lots of things. So I'm a big believer in I am statements, and what do I need who do I need to show up as today? So I used to think it was about the actions I was taking, and that would get me to the goals. And now I think I'm really aware of the fact that it's who I am that impacts that. And often when we weren't achieving goals, or I wasn't achieving goals, I was in my own way. And so I had to get out of my own way and move myself to a different person. Who do I need to become to meet those goals? And so I do a lot of that. So being really present. So when you're someone who's been busy all the time and planning, so being present in the moment is a real mantra for me. And also like my goals. So saying them out loud like they're already done, I find is really powerful. So if I've got a specific goal in terms of health or wealth or business or whatever it happens to be, saying that out loud like it's done, I use those. When it comes to quotes, I like lots. So it depends on where I'm at in my life. I use all sorts of different ones. But that whole, just understanding your time really well. You're not, people say they're too busy to do something. It's not that they're too busy. It's just not important to them. And once you get really clear on what's important, and sometimes you have to change that. That was my story, because I would have gone on here and told you that Scarlett and Johnny were the most important things in the world to me. But if you looked at my calendar, you wouldn't have seen them feature there at all. All I did was work and do community stuff, and so it just wasn't true. They weren't the most important things, because you'll always find time for things that are important. And so that one really resonates with me. And having lovely thoughts, having kind thoughts. Is it Roald Dahl or Dr. Seuss about having the lovely thoughts all day, and they'll shine out of your face, and you'll always look. I can't remember that quote of how it goes, but that certainly I think something that resonates with me. I'm going to go about my day, but yeah, I could give you lots. I've got books for Africa in here.
Yeah, I'm a real. I'm like real like that too. I love quotes.
Yeah. So the clear vision, clear values, and then planning your week around that.
So have you got any last piece of advice for anybody wanting to go out and either change their job or go into business or change something about their life? What would you say to them?
I would get really clear on where you want to be. So I think you need to have a really clear HD movie that you can play in your mind of where you want to be, and a long time in advance in the future, 10 years at least, you want to know, because we don't want to be taking steps to the wrong place. So be really, really clear about what you want it to look like and where you want to be in 10 years. And is what you're going to do now going to serve that? Because, and this one I do know. So Keith Cunningham says there's nothing worse than running furiously in the wrong direction, right? So you don't want to be running away from where you want to be in 10 years' time. So get really clear, not just where you're going to be in 10 years, how many employees, where does it operate from? Is it a physical place? Can you work from anywhere? How much money do you want to be making? How many clients do you want to be serving? Because if you really know really clearly what that is, then you can take action every day towards that. And then you just put that on the calendar. And we just get up every day and we do what the calendar tells us. And that would be my advice. Get really clear on where you're going so that you can make sure you're taking the right steps today.
Well, thank you. That's great advice. So hear that, everyone. Start on that and get really, really clear and put down some steps of the action that you can can take. So thank you, Sarah, for sharing your story with us today. And I know it will inspire many other women to make a decision to take some action, to get the confidence and belief to create what it is they would like to do, whether it is their personal or business life. You know, to go out there and achieve your personal goals by breaking through those limiting beliefs. So remember, everyone, do one thing right now, one step towards what it is you want. So have a great day, everyone, and thank you for listening. And please share this interview with your friends, as my mission is to help as many women as I can to create the life that they want. So it's bye for now from Sarah and myself. So bye.